Maduro is our bitch. Welcome aboard.
Hey. He's not our bitch. We're not in federal prison.
Oh, no, we're not. But guess who is?
His wife.
His wife.
You know what's
And
interesting, they didn't show a picture of her.
no, I found a picture of her.
Well, they've got him in the jumpsuit. My mom asked, what was with the goggles and the headset and everything? And so I had to kind of say it was the goggles are completely blacked out. The headset is actually a noise canceling. So it's probably got music playing. And I said, it's probably the US music. And she pointed out that would probably be considered cruel and unusual punishment. And I said, well, I hope they have horrible versions of the Venezuelan national anthem playing. And then we had to talk about it. But I said that picture that they showed of him is absolutely what they needed for the Geneva Convention. It shows water. It shows proper attire for where he's at.
He's being treated with respect. Absolutely.
That's exactly what they needed to show.
Well, you know who really deserves credit for predicting this? Teachers in train stations.
Hold on. Seth's almost ready to dislocate his shoulder, tapping himself on the back so much.
Yes. I mean, in our last episode, now we recorded it a couple days before. We recorded it, I think it was Monday or Tuesday night. It came out Thursday.
Yep.
And we said, hey, Maduro, we know where you are, exactly where you are. And ironically, probably right about the time we were recording that was when we had planned to go in and get him.
Actually,
and they delayed it.
Yeah, 4 days. It was delayed for weather. Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. Boy, I hadn't connected those dots. Wow, we are clairvoyant.
We were right on it.
Who knew?
So, for those of you who've been living in a cave, we went into...
So people in Iran?
Yes. We went into Venezuela. We took out Maduro, and we actually had a little bet on how long it was going to take. I think I took less than 6 or 8 hours, and you took 6 hours or more. And we were there.
That was the war. No, it said how long would the war take?
So that was the war, but there's really no war. It's not a war. We haven't had a war per se since World War II.
That's true. We had that discussion.
But we were in and out in 3 hours.
To be fair, that's pretty awesome. I mean, 3 hours in and out.
From what I understand, because there was some confusion at the beginning, Maduro was heading towards a safe room.
He was.
Yeah, and he didn't make it in there yet, but we had brought in heavy blowtorches to get him out. Like, we were not messing around.
I really, really do believe, and we're not going to know this. No one's going to know this except for, Delta Force.
And you know who I feel really bad for? You know who's really probably crying right now? Sean Penn.
Okay.
Sean Penn, when Chavez came in, said, oh, great leader. This is going to be great for the Venezuelan people. I don't know if you remember who Sean Penn is.
I know who Sean Penn is. I'm trying to get the Chavez reference.
Sean Penn loved Chavez. Oh, Chavez was the guy before Maduro.
Oh, okay.
Maduro was number 2 guy for Chavez. Chavez dies.
What was Chavez's first name? I know it wasn't Hugo.
Hugo.
Oh, it was Hugo.
Yeah,
okay.
It was Hugo.
Hugo Chavez. Okay,
that's how I remember
Hugo Chavez. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it was Hugo Chavez.
Okay.
And he died, so Maduro took over. And they had an election, and the other guy who was running against Maduro won
by a lot. If I remember correctly.
Lot.
It was like a 15% margin.
And Maduro turned around and said, no. No, I'm in charge. I cancel the election. I'm the winner.
Oh, and by the way, I have to say this. My mother, who has influenced this podcast, believe it or not, is probably one of the smartest people I've ever met, has said that, if you'd like, she'll be more than happy if you give her your personal cell phone. She'll be more than happy to call you when these things happen because she's up late at night watching the news.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm surprised she doesn't have it. All right. By the way, Jeremy's mother is a delightful woman. Absolutely adore her. She is really good.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I really think you should just get rid of your sons and adopt me.
You know what? It's great because, you spent Christmas with us.
I did.
It was awesome,
I did.
And my mom was like, oh, my gosh, that's Seth, huh? She loved you. She absolutely loved you.
Did
She
she?
almost kicked me out of the house and kept you.
Really? She was great, even though what I
Until
did.
she found out. Until she found out about what happened in the other room.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss that. That's not discussable. All right, this is somebody I listen to, a guy named Benny Johnson. He's absolutely fantastic. He's one of the guys I would listen to. Him, Liberal Hive Mind, Tim Pool, Professor Nez, all these guys I listen to. And we had talked for years about doing a podcast, but these were the ones I really listened to a lot. But this is Benny Johnson, and he comes up with some interesting things. So here we go. Benny Johnson.
Here's how the arrest of communist dictator Nicolas Maduro by the U.S. military signals doomsday for the globalist left. I just got off a phone call with a longtime friend of mine who, let's just say, is in clandestine diplomatic circles. And they laid it out clearly for me exactly what's at stake right now and why so many people are panicking about this arrest and the United States' actions against the narco-terrorist state of Venezuela. Venezuela doesn't really exist. Venezuela is a proxy for China, Iran, and Russia. And they use that proxy, which is not too far off the American coast, to wage statecraft level terrorism against the United States.
Now, one thing I do know, several hours before we actually took Maduro, he was in a meeting with Chinese diplomats. No. The United States is not going to allow that. And what gives us the right to tell Venezuela what to do on their sovereign territory? You want to guess, or should I just say it?
Well, I know why we did it. So what are you saying?
Monroe Doctrine. Monroe Doctrine was made somewhere around 1820. I don't remember the date per se, right off the top of my head. But it was in the 1820s by President Monroe. And basically it says, hey, Europe, you can keep your colonies. We will stay out of Europe. You stay out of our half of the world, which basically is the same for any country in Asia. No. This is our half of the world.
Yeah.
And you stay out. And China's been trying to make inroads. And President Potato, Guy, why do I always do that? President Biden, the potato.
Ex-President Biden.
Oh, no, he's still president. You retain the title.
Do you?
Yeah,
I thought you had to put X in there.
No, you could say former president.
Former, there you go.
But he is still, you retain your title. So, like, if you're a retired professor, you're still a professor. If you're a retired senator, you still are called by the highest rank you've ever made. So you'd be senator.
Yeah, good to know. All right, so back to president.
He was meeting. He did nothing, and Trump is basically saying, "No, enough. We are enforcing the Monroe Doctrine, which has been U.S. policy since the 1820s."
Well. But also, this I kind of see this as Al Capone. We couldn't get Maduro on a bunch of stuff, but we could absolutely get Maduro on the fact that he agreed and allowed the drug trafficking.
Oh, he was part of it.
So we could issue a warrant for it, and we did.
Yeah,
and we issued an indictment, and so we did. And so now all we did, and correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe you don't know this either, but I believe we have extradited people from Venezuela before with permission.
No, well, maybe we have, but here's the thing. One of the things I want to bring up later on is a lot of Democrats are saying you're not allowed to go after a president. Well, there is precedent for this. Number one, in Panama, we went in. This was under George H.W. Bush 1.
Yep.
And we took out Noriega.
I was going to say Noriega, right?
Noriega. And we took him out. We brought him here, and that was that. But also to all the Democrats saying you can't go after a president. Hold on a second. Give me a minute for this.
Okay, hold on. This is my point. We made this discussion. I get to do this now. I get to play dad jokes while he's looking for these things. So if you think I wouldn't joke about Alzheimer's, forget about it. Why are friends a lot like snow? If you pee on them, they'll disappear. But okay, Seth, your turn.
Okay, so to all the Democrats who say you can't indict and take and arrest an ex-president, I give you this. Enough said. Democrats,
Does it
go
just
to
mean,
hell.
hold on. I know this is going to sidetrack it a bunch, but this
Yeah,
is
go
my
ahead.
ADD. Doesn't it look like he is exactly the grumpy eagle from the Muppets right there? Am I right? Or am I right?
You know, I was not expecting that. Okay, you get points. All right, back to
Okay.
Benny Johnson. Here
Yep,
we go.
Here we go.
That comes in the form of chemical warfare, like with fentanyl, and in biological warfare, like with human beings, millions of them flooding across our borders, gangs, and other operations that they've run. Remember, Laken Riley was killed by a Venezuelan gang member, along with many other Americans. Millions of Americans have been killed by the chemicals inside of the drug.
Hold on. I want to say that somebody said that they directly attributed today. They were talking about it. It was somebody, I can't remember who. Directly attributed 2,700 deaths a month, absolutely connected to the drugs coming from Venezuela. Couldn't dispute it. There are way more than 2,700 deaths a month in drugs, but 2,700 deaths a month guaranteed. It's an average, I get it, but guaranteed per month from Venezuela. So there is 2,700 a month to add however many months it is. Those are legal precedent.
Well, all the people saying we have no right to go in and do that. This is an act of war.
Absolutely,
to go into another country. You know what else is an act of war? Murdering American citizens by shipping drugs in.
Absolutely.
If you were to sell drugs to me and I OD'd, you could be indicted, arrested, and put in jail for my one murder for selling it to me.
Absolutely. And I would like to point out that if you really want to go for the act of war and we want to play war crimes and all this stuff, guess what? Giving drugs willingly to the other party, the other side of the war, let's say it's Americans and Germans. If we gave drugs willingly that could kill those Germans, it would be a war crime. Even though shooting them wouldn't be. I get it. It's weird. But so essentially, they've created war crimes by sending drugs over to our border.
Yeah. And, if you want to talk about war, they declared war on us. They went after us. Yeah. But there's even more to this, because what Benny Johnson's about to say, we actually said, we brought up in a former episode 2 months ago, I think. Hold on, let me start it.
That Venezuela ships into our country. And so the end of that proxy battle, magnificently and stunningly through the evening, shuts down the capacity for our enemies to wage war against us in our hemisphere using that nation state. But it gets so much better. Listen to this.
Here it is.
The individual who I spoke with, who has, let's just say, impeccable credentials on these things, has had dinner with Nicolas Maduro. This is an individual who's personally spoken with Nicolas Maduro and had conversations with him and his team. This is just what happens in high-level statecraft and diplomatic circles. And here's what he told me, that the arrest of Nicolas Maduro obviously is going to end all of those operations that we just talked about, but it's also going to expose something incredible. The election rigging apparatus that is run out of Venezuela.
Now, a couple of months ago, we talked about this. Who started Dominion?
Well, it was a couple
Dominion
people,
voting
but
machines.
they were out of Venezuela. I can't remember the
Venezuela. It ends up getting connected to Canada somehow, but Venezuelans started Dominion voting machines.
Yes.
Now,
to specifically rig elections,
and the data from the 2020 election was being held in Germany and Spain. I believe those were the two countries that they were being held in. So I want to know, this just seems fishy. You've got Dominion voting machines with the Venezuelan connection and 19 million voters that appeared out of nowhere and didn't come back. And then you have that in the middle of the night, 4 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever time it was, bump for Joe Biden. And even then, Trump was catching up. I am sorry. Joe Biden did not win that election. He was installed as the president, but I call shenanigans.
Well, if I remember correctly, there was an accusation that yes, Dominion machines could be adjusted, they could be changed. And it was somebody, and I can't remember who, I don't remember all this. This was years ago now, obviously. But it was about the CIA. Somebody in former CIA said, no, absolutely, we have done this. We've done this before. This is it, blah, blah, blah. We've used Dominion voting machines for this. When it came down to it, nobody disputed that claim. And that's always the thing that always makes me wonder. Whenever anybody disputes something, you got to look at what they chose not to dispute.
Well, you know it's not in dispute, and this is very specific, so you really need to listen to this. Dominion voting machines counted the votes, correct?
Absolutely.
And you know what really counts? You liking and subscribing.
I saw
commenting below.
I hate that.
So reach down. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. Like, comment, tell Jeremy how this time actually how right he is. I don't say that often, but how right he's right most of the time. But show us how much you care about this country. Show us how much you love that Nicolas Maduro is now in a New York prison cell by liking, commenting, and especially subscribing below. We're getting very close to 100 subscribers, and we need you to make us get over that 100 mark, so then we can go for our next mark.
Absolutely. You know, my goal at the end of this day, as I've said this multiple times before,
we have fun.
I just like my gas paid for so that I can get the hour it takes to get to his house. And I'm not kidding, probably an hour and 20 minutes on the way home because of traffic tonight. And so it's like, you know what? I would love to just be able to afford gas in my big old truck to drive back and forth. So if you guys could make it so that, I don't know, there's like $100 a year, that'd be great.
That'd be awesome. All right, let's get back to Benny Johnson because of what he's going to say.
Absolutely.
And this has been run by big-time Venezuela software companies that were started in Venezuela, Smartmatic, Dominion, and these companies have been used effectively to rig elections around the world, including American elections. And the person who would know the most about that is Nicolas Maduro. My source tells me that Nicolas Maduro straight up admitted that this is exactly how the elections have been rigged in the West using Venezuelan technology, and he has direct knowledge of it. Is that going to be part of some type of plea agreement? Is this going to be part of some type of sing like a canary situation with the feds? Is this Trump's major revenge for 2020?
Let me ask you something. Why did they bring in Maduro's wife, in your opinion?
In my opinion, because she has direct ties with the cocaine movement in cartels and stuff like that. So obviously, also, she isn't just the first lady like we think of first ladies, where they're just like, oh, pick something and go for it. Decorate the halls type of thing. She actually is very, very involved in the presidential world, I guess. I would say campaign, but there's no campaign. I would say, actions, but let's face it, it's all cartel and drugs. So I don't know where you would put how she's involved, but she is definitely very involved in the nefarious drug movements of Venezuela.
See, here's my opinion. Which is a little different. Here's how I see the conversation going. Hey, dictator Maduro. Okay, we'll call you President Maduro.
To be fair, he lost the election. He didn't leave. He is a dictator, regardless of what we want to call it.
Okay, but here's the conversation. Dictator Maduro. You and your wife can be in jail forever and ever. Or we can get you a decent plea deal of a couple decades. Maybe you'll end up getting a presidential pardon. We did that for the president of Honduras. We gave him a pardon, let him go. And maybe we could let your wife go. But we need you to play canary. We need you to sing everything you know. And if not, it's okay. You have a lifespan. Your wife has a lifespan. You could spend that entire lifespan in prison. Both of you. You're going to protect your woman or not? Done. I mean, most men would sing like a canary. Deal. My wife goes, okay, I'll take a couple decades. There you go. She's going to go run off and find herself another dictator. I don't know.
I
Maybe
don't see him
somebody in
doing
Cuba.
that, but
You don't see him doing that.
No, I don't see him doing that.
All right, let's take. Oh, go ahead.
But I will say that. Keep going. We'll keep going.
Along with, of course, understanding the network of left-wing NGOs and billionaires who fund these kind of things, and world leaders, right? The left is sweating right now, and for good reason. It's all going to come out, and it's going to be biblical.
All right. So at the end of the day,
it's coming out.
Because you don't think it's coming out.
I don't think it's coming. I think it's just going to end.
You think it's going to end?
And I think that's enough. I think to be honest, we don't need to slap hands and pull fingers. I think if the statement ends with, we're never using those Dominion machines ever again, we're never going to get away with that kind of rigging ever again. Okay. I'm okay with that. I think that's fine.
And, there is so much to this story. We're not going to fit it all in one episode.
Oh, no.
I think that we have some other things we want to talk about. So I think at this point, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. We're here because we enjoy doing this, but we would love you to be part of it.
And with that, I guess we'll see you at the next stop.
So, Jeremy, you'll never guess what episode this is for us. This is episode, being a teacher, you're going to love this, episode 6-7.
Yay.
Yeah.
I hate you. I hate 6-7. I hate kids. I hate all of it. Let's start a new rumor. Chuck Norris went in and got him.
Chuck Norris got him. You know why? Okay. Do you know why Maduro was not in the safe room?
Actually, you know what's funny is?
No. You know
okay,
why?
Why?
Because Chuck Norris told him to wait right there.
That's true. I'll believe that.
Do you know why Maduro was captured? Because Chuck Norris said, hey, Trump, go get him.